Hello folks, it's Alan once again from Retired in Texas. On my last video, I made a video of still images from rodeo shots that my wife and I did over the years. And in that video, I promised that there would be a volume 2 or episode 2 of action shots, whereas the first one just concentrated on still shots of people and equipment and so forth. This one will be actual rodeo action. I realize there's some people out there that have probably not ever been to a rodeo. Here in Texas, that just doesn't seem right, but it happens. So I thought I would pass along a few things on what you might expect if you were to go to a rodeo, and also explain some of the images that you're going to see in this episode. Every rodeo, first of all, there's many different types. There's national levels, regional levels, college, high school, teen, children's, women's, rodeos for pretty much every genre you can think of. But most all of them are going to follow a same format. One thing you're going to see in every rodeo, regardless of what it is, you're going to see patriotism on display. You're going to see the national flag, the state flag. In our instance, of course, that's Texas. You're going to see people standing for the flag, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, singing the national anthem. You're going to hear prayers for the safety of the contestants. That just happens in rodeo. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. Hopefully that's the way it will always be. There's different events in a typical rodeo, and I thought I'd go over a few of those. Some you're going to know. Bull riding, of course. I think everybody knows what that is. But I'll go over a few others that may not be as obvious to you as to what they are. Roping, there's several types of roping. There's a tie-down roping and a head and heel. The tie-down is most often referred to as just calf roping. That's where you see a calf running out, a rider coming along beside him, trying to lasso that calf. The object is to lasso the calf in as short a time as possible, jump off the horse from a full gallop, throw that calf down, tie its hind legs, and get back. There's a lot of complicated moves in that, and the horse has to be specifically trained for that also, because it knows that once the calf is roped, that horse stops, and he holds the lasso tight. There's a lot of intricate moves there, and believe it or not, the fastest time for that exercise is just over 6 seconds, which is pretty quick when you realize what all is involved in that. And there's another one called head and heel. In this type of roping, a calf is flanked by two riders. The calf is turned loose. The first rider goes out, tries to rope the calf or steer by the horns preferably, if not the neck. As soon as it's roped, he immediately swings around to the left. The second rider comes up behind and throws a loop to capture the hind legs, which obviously is much more difficult. That's called head and heel, and that comes from working on the ranch. That's typically what was done many times in branding. Head and heel, the calf or steer would be stretched out, laying on its side, so the owners could brand it. That's where that event came from. Let's see, another one is bulldogging, also known as steer wrestling. This can be a dangerous sport. It's not often mentioned that way, but you think of danger, you think of bulls. But in this event, a rider is chasing after a steer at full gallop. He jumps off that horse, tries to land on the steer without impaling himself on the horns, and then twisting the head to bring the steer off balance down to the ground. Again, there's a lot of intricate moves to that. And believe it or not, the record for that event is 2.4 seconds. That's fast, folks, for anything you're doing. Bronc riding is much like bull riding, except it involves wild horses. Not wild horses, but horses trained to be wild. Their main objective is to get that rider off their backs. There's two kinds. There's bareback and saddle. Kind of self-explanatory. In one, the saddle is on the horse, and another one you're just riding bareback. But your main goal here is to stay on that bronc for 8 seconds and not get thrown off. One event that's become pretty popular is mutton busting. And this is where young kids, typically 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, are placed on the back of a sheep. The sheep is turned loose and it just runs, usually in a straight line, while the kid hangs on. It's just an entry-level thing into rodeo participation. And let me tell you, it's a blast to watch these young folks. There'll be a few shots of that coming up. Barrel racing, I think everybody's familiar with that. That's pretty much exclusively a women's sport in the pro ranks. In college or high school events, it's not unusual to have men or women, but in the pro ranks, it's exclusively women. And another one you may not be able or be familiar with is called Women's Ranch Rodeo. There are ranch rodeos and women's ranch rodeos. In women's ranch rodeo, I had the honor of photographing one of those. Strictly women participants. All the events are based around what you would mainly come up against in a working, everyday ranch situation. That's roping, cutting out steers from a herd, branding them, throwing them down to give them medicine. That's what that rodeo event is, and that's quite enjoyable too to watch that. Anyway, that's a little rundown on what you might see in this video coming up. If you haven't seen the first video, I urge you to see that one. I go into a little more detail explaining what a church rodeo is. That's what most of my experience has been in, photographing church rodeos. But watch that first one, and hopefully you're interested enough in that one to watch this one. We certainly enjoyed doing it over the years, and I hope you'll enjoy watching it. Let's go. folks, thanks for stopping by and spending a little time with us. I hope you enjoyed our efforts here to show you a little bit about the cowboy life. We certainly enjoyed doing the photography on it and being around that culture. Come back, see what I'll do next time. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. It may be more photography. We got thousands of photos. I may subject you to more of those. In the meantime, hope y'all have a good week, have a blessed week. Y'all be safe, and we'll talk to you later.